right, welcome everybody. So glad you are here for the Leader NAB show wrap. Maybe you got back from NAB and realized, oh, I wish I would have taken a look at one other thing, or maybe you didn't make it to the show and you've got that fear of missing out. Very glad you're here. I'm Cindy, and I'm passing this over to Kevin and Steve. Take it away, Steve and Kevin.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, thank you, Cindy. Well, Kevin, it's another wrap. We've tied up another NAB. It's done and dusted, and now off to the hard work starts.
It sure is, Steve. And it was great to see so many of our existing customers and also new customers visiting us on the Leader PHABRIX booth at NAB in Las Vegas.
It certainly was, Kevin. It's always nice to see you in person rather than just on Zoom. So what were your takeaways from NAB 2024, which also happens to be Leader's 70th anniversary? And what do you feel is the direction for the broadcast industry now in the rest of 2024?
Well, Steve, the broadcast industry in 2024 is continuing to face a myriad of challenges, and our customers face challenges whichever sector they operate in. The show felt slightly quieter than in recent years, but the visitors' numbers to the Leader PHABRIX booth were consistent with 2023. But the interesting bit was that 40% of those people who visited us were new. They weren't known to us in our database. Looking at the sectors, on-set production still hasn't recovered from the effect of the writers' strike. And this is also being felt in post-production, which is kind of waiting for new content to arrive. Live production is still facing the dilemma of reinvesting in SDI or moving to IP, whilst having to manage their customer requirements for 4K, ultra high definition, HD, SDR, and HDR content. And with the major public service broadcasters facing the growing challenge from OTT streaming services and reduced advertising revenues, it's challenges in whichever direction you look, unfortunately.
It certainly is a challenging time, Kevin. So it was great to see so many great conversations with our customers at the show who are looking to Leader and PHABRIX as their test and measurement partner.
So Steve, what was the hot product on the Leader and PHABRIX booth from your discussions with our customers?
Kevin, I'd have to say it was our new LT4670, the true hybrid IP and SDI sync pulse generator that we just launched. It certainly was well received. The nice thing, it has both SDI and IP references at the same time, all locked to the same clock, so they can never be out of sync. And with SDI and IP test patterns, it significantly simplifies the reference design and operation. Excuse me, with the fact that Leader has added hot swappable power supplies and hot swappable fans. And one thing I found out at the show was people were telling me they were having more issue with the fans dying before the power supplies. So having a hot swappable fan that you can swap out in under 30 seconds is really, really nice. So the thing with the 4670 is it's really nice. It's got dual independent PTP generators, which allow broadcasters to completely put out on two separate outputs, two different types of PTP if they want, or they can be joined together conventionally. So with the SDI only people, this allows them to purchase in confidence that the 4670 will also satisfy the potential for their IP reference and signal requirements in the future. It also addresses the requirement if they're looking to migrate, they'll have something that they'll be able to migrate. And with the new web GUI, it really looks nice.
The growth of data center architecture did appear to be a theme of this year's show, Steve.
It certainly did, Kevin. We had a number of customers looking at the cloud and looking at our cloud offering, which is certainly attracting interest. With its capabilities of being able to display both compressed and uncompressed video signals in a live production environment in the cloud, and give us traditional experiences like waveform, vector scopes, and being able to see ancillary data in a format that we understand as broadcasters. And for those customers looking to build a data center environment on premise, we do have some new products that will be coming out shortly that have WebRTC built into them, so that the remote from the device is actually live. There's almost no delay. So the LV5600W and LV7600W are coming out shortly with live WebRTC.
And there we have the rear panel of the new W series. And for those familiar with the 5600, you can see that there is now a second Ethernet port, and that will be the WebRTC interface. We also demonstrated for the first time the Leader NDI checker. This was a technology demonstration, so it's not a shipping product at the current time. Its functions include listing NDI senders in the network, picture display detailing, format, bit rate, and frame rate.
It was interesting, Kevin, that it wasn't just the Pro AV people who were investigating the NDI checker. So broadcast companies were also interested too.
With the growth of HDR, it was great to see a number of enhancements to the Leader Zen series, which are available as free software updates. And these include the ability to import a 3D LUT into the waveform monitor.
On the Zen series, which is the entire line of Zen series waveform monitors within Leader, we can now import full 33-bit 3D LUTs, which support the recall of up to 10 tetrahedral and interpolated 3D LUTs, which will benefit on-set production and live production in the waveform monitors.
Just a note on this, for those customers looking to use this, you do have to have the HDR software license. So that's SCR23 enabled on your device. So with the SDI output of the 3D LUT conversion, this is going to allow DITs to reduce the number of LUT boxes they need on their cart for on-set production. And also with the LV5350's battery operation, you can have a 3D LUT conversion whilst operating remotely. And post-production can benefit if you're working in HDR and delivering in SDR, which a lot of productions are doing this day. By switching on the 3D LUT on the waveform monitor, you can confirm the SDR deliverable, retain the artistic intent by viewing the waveform, vector, CIE color chart, and histogram in SDR prior to creating your Dolby trim pass. But probably the area that I had the most discussions with at the show is live production. Having a 3D LUT import capability in a live production environment, as camera shaders in the majority of HDR productions are working in standard dynamic range, having the HDR to SDR 3D LUT on the waveform means they are actually seeing what the SDR program output looks like. And it also removes the requirement for a host of HDR to SDR conversion products. And in addition to 3D LUTs, the Zen series also now supports full range video.
And Kevin, in addition to the 3D LUT and the full range SDR support in the Zen series, we now have new Cinezone false color displays. We have user A, user R, and user S. With these, it's built in false color with the user A for ARI, with user S for Sony, and the user R for red. And with the ARI, it matches log C and log C4. So exactly what they see on their camera displays, we can duplicate that on the waveform monitor.
And with the log C4, it can also read the payload ID of the exposure index and adjust the waveform monitor automatically. So as the director of photography is adjusting the exposure index, the waveform monitor will follow with no intervention. So the LV5350, which has become synonymous with DITS for cinema and high-end TV production on set, by adding these three new Cinezone tools, these will be extremely popular. And for any of you who are heading to Cinegear, we should have this on display on the ARRI stand at Cinegear in LA in just over a week's time, Steve.
Yes, Kevin. And there are a couple of other enhancements in the Zen series. For IP operation, the LV5600 and the LV7600 feature audio mapping diversification, which individual audio streams to follow the SMPTE channel order convention as listed in the 2110-30 and be monitored in both the audio meters and in the Lizado display. We've also added NMOS clean switching, which now provides an overlap, a make before break type of operation on the IP. So Leader has now also added alarming for the 2022-7, so we can notify customers if one of the one-for-one flows to the packet picker is not well behaved. So we also have added enhancements to closed captions. So within the closed captions, we've added language, we've added source ID and time code continuity. So if you have a program with a break in time code continuity, we'll actually put that into the event log and actually notify you on the screen.
We also saw a number of significant feature enhancements for the PHABRIX product range at NAB, didn't we, Steve?
We certainly did, Kevin. And one of the most eagerly anticipated was the single boot mode upgrade for the PHABRIX QXL and the QXP. A large number of people are having to manage the transition from SDI to IP. And with this, in the past, you had to actually reboot to switch between modes. Now, with this new load, all you have to do is click on the opposite source and it'll walk from SDI to IP back and forth without having to reboot. So on the QXL and QXP, we can seamlessly make this switch.
And I understand from talking to engineering today that the final QC process has taken place. So watch your inboxes. If you've got a QX series product, you will be receiving an email detailing how you can update to version 6.0.
That's correct, Kevin. The QX series can now also support SD to eUHD. And for those of you not familiar with eUHD, that's UHD 444 RGB in 12 bits. That's a 21 to 23 gig payload for 4K content.
At trade shows like NAB, we love to get lost in the latest technology, but we sometimes forget that there are a large group of customers who have no interest in ultra high definition, HDR, or IP, and are simply looking for a like-for-like replacement for their aging test and measurement products.
They sure are, Kevin. And we met a lot of them at the show who just want to get a standard def HD waveform monitor.
Before Leader acquired PHABRIX in 2019, the RX series was always so difficult to sell against. It's got such a comprehensive set of features and analysis tools, and the price is unbelievable.
It really is, Kevin. It does not support UHD, does not support HDR or IP. So you're never going to have to pay for features you're never going to use. It is a very, very capable HD, SD waveform monitor with the normal tools that a customer needs that is not going to be moving to IP anytime in the near future.
And finally, Steve, we haven't spoken about PHABRIX's most famous product, the SX series.
Kevin, the PHABRIX is the default name used by broadcast engineers for handling test and measurement products at NAB 2024. With the handhelds that they've got, we introduced multi-link 3G and HD support to where you can look at, if you're running either dual link or quad link, you can look at the individual links and it will read the 352 payload ID and tell you what is going on. So with the SXA, the SXD, the SXE, along with improved battery power management, and then the SX tag also has new features of the reference out being phase locked to the reference.
You mentioned in your introduction, now the hard work starts. And we've had lots of customers and potential new customers visit us on the Leader PHABRIX booth at NAB 2024. Now we have to follow up all of these demonstration inquiries, Steve.
We sure do, Kevin. But it's the show so that we are continuing to develop test and measurement products that meet our customers' need and appreciate. So regardless of whether you're doing SD, SDI, all the way up to EUHD over IP, Leader and PHABRIX have the test and measurement products to suit your operational requirements and budget.
So if you want to know more about the Leader and PHABRIX product range, then you can either contact Steve or myself, and our numbers are currently displayed on the screen. Or alternatively, you can visit the new Leader PHABRIX website at www.leaderphabrix.com. Or we have the Leader PHABRIX YouTube channels, where not only do we have a number of the webinars that Steve and I have done over the last couple of years, there are also product videos, but also we talk about test and measurement techniques so that you can understand when you're talking to your clients and customers about what they're trying to achieve with test and measurement. So Steve also discussed about industry trends and test and measurement. We'll next be exhibiting at IBC 2024 in Amsterdam in September. So I think we've got a busy run into September where basically we turn the machine and we do it all again.
We certainly do, Kevin. And I just want to thank everybody for joining us on this little webinar, just to kind of give you a real quick snapshot of what we did and what we had at our booth in NAB. And I just want to thank you for joining.
And I'd like to also follow Steve's thank you. And as I said, if you have any questions, Steve and I are available to take those questions. And if you want to demo of our products, please contact us and we'll make sure that the relevant account manager gets in contact with you. So until September, until the fall, And Amsterdam, Steve.
Yes, sir. I look forward to seeing you in Amsterdam. So everybody have a great morning, great evening, and want to thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody, and have a good day.